This is also the same philosophy that has inspired, a lot of the modern progressive or the Christian left that we see today, that's enamored by, talk of Jesus being a socialist or Jesus being a refugee, the talk of, really pushing that, Jesus is pro-choice and these different ideas, that he's pro-trans. There's some people that even, have speculated that because we see Jesus lay his head on John's, or we see John, and Jesus kind of interact with this point of intimacy during the Last Supper, that must mean that Jesus is pro, LGBT lifestyle. There was actually one guy on TikTok I saw here recently that had a hypothesis that because Jesus most likely wore some sort of a tunic, and that's a lot like a dress, that he's also trans positive. And so, you see these ridiculous ideas, but people that don't know the Word of God, people that are new to faith, that aren't reading the text, that aren't going to good churches, they hear these things and it creates a lot of confusion. And so what I do in my new book, Woke Jesus, is I really start kind of in the beginning with the history of wokeism, the history of this progressive theology that's come out of this, really help people understand where this started, where we've come from, and then really begin to lay a foundation for what I call the biblical Christ and how this contrasts with these alternative versions of Jesus that we're seeing today.
Did you realize Jesus was a refugee, Jesus was pro-choice, and Jesus was a socialist, was actually communist propaganda? How many genuinely tender-hearted, loving Christians have been manipulated by these subjective truths crafted to play on their emotions?